Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're delving into another truly chilling case, one that will leave you questioning the depths of human darkness. If you enjoy these stories and want to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button and stay active. Your engagement really helps me bring you more content like this, and I'd be incredibly grateful for your support. Let's get started. Have you ever wondered if an ordinary person can truly distinguish someone with serious psychological issues from a regular, well-adjusted individual? Is that a skill reserved solely for trained specialists? It's a question that haunts many, especially when you consider how easily some individuals blend into society, appearing charming, driven, and even successful in their chosen fields. The most concerning traits, a lack of remorse and an inability to empathize with others, often remain hidden beneath a veneer of normalcy. But sometimes, it's nearly impossible to tell. Are we looking at a charismatic go-getter who climbed the career ladder through sheer determination? Or a calculating manipulator capable of ruthless actions without a second thought? The case of Maria Marta Aras shook Argentina to its core with its shocking brutality and the apparent lack of a clear motive. Her husband committed an act of extreme aggression, transforming it into something that resembled a disturbing, macabre performance. At first glance, his behavior seemed completely irrational, considering what he did and how he acted throughout the day. However, psychiatric experts had a different opinion. They concluded that the crime was premeditated and that his erratic behavior was nothing more than an act, a carefully constructed facade. But was that really the case? Let's take a closer look at this unsettling case. Maria Marta Aras was born on July 14, 1984, in the small town of La Banda, nestled in Argentina's Santiago del Estero province. She was the youngest of three siblings in the family of Maria Helga Alonso and José Aras. Her father passed away when she was still very young, so she only knew him through family stories and old photographs. Her mother never remarried and dedicated herself entirely to raising her children. Maria Marta grew up with her two older brothers, Juan and Claudio, who were always protective of her. She was an excellent student, calm, humble, well-behaved, and endlessly kind. She had a deep love for animals, dreamed of earning a higher education, and had a natural talent for learning foreign languages. Because of this, Maria Helga enrolled her in English courses at a local university, where she quickly became the top student in her group. As a teenager, Maria Marta was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease known as lupus. She required constant and expensive medical treatment to keep the condition under control. A significant portion of the family's budget went toward her therapy, but her loved ones never hesitated to support her in every way possible. As she grew older, Maria Marta blossomed into a true beauty. She was petite and slender, with long, thick hair and striking light-colored eyes, delicate and graceful, with an angelic appearance and a kind, open heart. She had a way of captivating people at first sight. However, she remained modest, reserved, and quiet. She had only a few close friends and never pursued romantic relationships. During her English courses at the university, she met a young man named Pablo, and they became friends. However, after her lupus diagnosis, she stopped attending the classes, and their friendship faded over time. They didn't see each other for several years. Now let's take a moment to talk about Pablo Antonio Amin himself. He was born on April 22, 1983 in La Banda, the same town as Maria Marta. He was the youngest of two children in a well-off family. His parents, Graciela Beatriz Rodriguez and Pablo Amin Sr., owned a successful business and operated several stores. He was raised alongside his older sister, Andrea, later married under the name Brunel. His parents ensured that their children never wanted for anything, and some might say they spoiled them. From a young age, Pablo trained in martial arts and became highly skilled in the sport. He was tall, physically strong, and had a reputation for being aggressive. At the age of 14, he was involved in a tragic incident that led to the loss of another teenager's life. The details of this event were not publicly disclosed, but according to some reports, a conflict escalated into a physical altercation during which Pablo inflicted injuries on his peer that proved fatal. The teenager's father managed to keep the case from going to trial. He used his connections and paid a substantial sum to the prosecutors, as well as a significant financial settlement to the family of the boy who lost his life. It was well known that Pablo Amin Sr. was deeply devoted to his son and would do anything to protect him, even when it was clear that Pablo was in the wrong. When Pablo's older sister Andrea became an adult, she decided to move to the province of Córdoba to continue her education. Not long after, Pablo expressed a desire to join her and start an independent life. Their parents didn't object, but a few months later, he returned home. He struggled to adjust to life in a new place, and Andrea was unwilling to take responsibility for him. She also confided in their parents that she was deeply unsettled by her brother's behavior. Andrea had good reason to be concerned. During that time, Pablo had started experimenting with banned substances, and his usage quickly escalated. He became even more irritable and aggressive, often losing control of his temper and lashing out at those around him. Before long, he developed a serious dependence on highly addictive substances, and it became clear that he couldn't stop on his own. By the time he turned 17, his parents were desperate and took extreme measures to get him help. They managed, through great effort, to send him to an exclusive private rehabilitation facility. The process was incredibly difficult. Pablo repeatedly relapsed and struggled to break free from his addiction. It took nearly 3 years before doctors finally declared him to be in recovery. After completing treatment, Pablo returned home and decided to get involved in the family business, helping his parents manage their affairs. It seemed like things were finally starting to stabilize until tragedy struck again. His father passed away suddenly from a heart attack, an event that devastated Pablo and almost caused him to relapse. But this was just the beginning of the hardships the Amin family would face. In 2005, Graciela was in a serious car accident that nearly cost her life. She suffered severe injuries and had to relearn how to walk, with no guarantees from doctors about her recovery. She turned to alternative medicine and began attending church regularly. Pablo stood by her side throughout her journey. One day, while accompanying his mother to a church service, he noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Maria Marta, whom he hadn't seen since they were teenagers. He decided to approach and strike up a conversation. Maria Marta immediately recognized her childhood friend, and as they talked, it felt as if only days had passed since their last meeting, rather than several years. The two decided to exchange phone numbers to stay in touch. From that moment on, they spoke regularly, sharing long conversations about anything and everything. Before long, Pablo excitedly told his mother that he had found the girl of his dreams and planned to introduce Maria Marta to his family soon. However, despite their frequent conversations, she kept turning down his invitations to go on a date or visit his home. She made it clear that she valued their friendship, but didn't see their relationship as anything more at the time. Maria Marta was in her 3rd year at the prestigious National University of Santiago del Estero, studying economics. She was one of the top students in her program. In addition to being highly intelligent and ambitious, she was petite, slender, and strikingly beautiful, qualities that never went unnoticed. In comparison, Pablo struggled in many areas. He had dismissed higher education, believing it wasn't necessary for him, and had long abandoned sports due to his past struggles with substance use and an eating disorder that developed as a result. By the time he turned 20, he stood nearly 6.5 feet tall and weighed over 330 pounds. His skin was also affected by severe acne, further damaging his self-esteem. Determined to win Maria Marta's attention, Pablo decided to take drastic action. He turned to highly marketed dietary supplements that promised rapid weight loss, improved skin, and overall wellness. Over 6 months, he lost more than 90 pounds, and his weight continued to drop. In 2005, Pablo finally convinced Maria Marta to go on a date with him. She was surprised by his transformation and complimented his dedication and perseverance. After that, they met a few more times before she eventually accepted his invitation to dinner at his home, where he introduced her to his mother as his girlfriend. From that moment on, their unexpected romance took off, developing quickly.